Hey, what's up, y'all? This is your girl Diamond. How are you? So, I go live every Friday at 7, and we just talk about a particular subject, and then we open up the floor and talk about other stuff too. Just a random kiki and chat about a particular subject. And this subject this week is going to be Kev on stage. I know I'm late on this subject, but I'm on my own time, child. So I want to talk about the Bible. I want to talk about the acceptance of LGBT people. I want to talk about, yeah, just all the things that this has brought up for me in my spirit as people were being so ridiculous about it. And so, yeah, I have the settings in the chat to be subscribers only because that allows me to just hear from people who are invested in having a great conversation and not invested in being trolls and saying disrespectful stuff in the chat. So if you want to join the conversation, make sure you become a subscriber. As you come in, if you are returning, make sure you thumbs up and engage. And yes, hey Naira, how are you? Today's scent is I don't own this scent, but I told y'all last live that I bought this. I'm gonna watch Guidance 46, and anytime you buy one of them, they give you like a plethora of scents to try. And so they gave me a little sample of their other fragrance called Lineage, and that is what I'm wearing now. That is what I'm wearing today because when I smelled this, it was, mm, I always put fragrance on my hands because I am a hand talker. I be doing all kinds of stuff. And if you somebody that like your stuff to smell and people to smell it, put it on. If you're a hand talker, put it on your hands, child. Because as soon as you get to doing all this kind of stuff, it's just that sillage gets to wearing them out. Back. And they like, you smell so good. What do you got on? You get all that tea. So put it on your hands. This smells like, this is very particular. So you might not know what this smells like. Because this is very particular to my life. This smells like my childhood Sunday nights. So how my mother is set up. So my mother is unlike like my aunts and shit. My mother was the whatever the opposite of neat freak is. My mother, she wasn't nasty, but she wasn't like super like straight and clean every day, all day. Da, 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 da. She wasn't that kind of woman. My mama's rules was the bathroom got to be clean, the kitchen got to be clean because that keeps the bugs away. So because she don't like no bugs, she like me, I don't like no bugs, child. So she's the type that you know my mama ain't coming in my room and telling me to clean my room. She's not doing that. This show, the room, you do what you want. You want it all messy, you can't find nothing in here, that's on you. Maybe if you clean up the room, you can find what you're looking for. She's that type of person. So long as you can't bring that mess out in the hallway and in the living room and da 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 da, you can't do all that. But in your room, she's not the type that's gonna come in and tell you to clean up. Now you can't bring no food in the room, bugs. You can't bring no food in the room. But if you got clothes all everywhere, my mom ain't gonna say shit. That's on you. Long as that shit ain't coming out in the rest of the house, you want to live like a whatever. That's kind of how my mama was. But as far as the household, Sundays are the day that everybody has to clean. So Sundays are like the reset of the week. So Sunday morning is when, honey, you getting the comment out and putting it all over the fucking tub and scrubbing and pulling the chairs out and vacuuming and pulling the stove out and sweeping and wiping under the stove and it's like the extra cleaning day because throughout the week, my mama really is kind of just straightening up. She ain't like cleaning, but the Sunday is like the extra cleaning day. You do extra shit. You mop the floors, um, you the dusting, so the house is smelling like clean and shit. But my mother also doesn't like the smell of cleaning stuff. So she likes it, but she don't want her house to smell like that. So when she get done cleaning, how she resets the house to a fragrance that she likes is she usually is going to be burning her incense. The way I just steamed my tub, cleaned my turtle tank, and vacuumed my house work. Um, so she's 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 a type that the the ending of the cleaning in regards to the ritual of Sunday for us is her lighting her favorite incense because she rather instead of her house smell like bleach, pine sol, lemon pledge, or whatever we comment, whatever we mean green, scrubbing bubbles, whatever we clean the house with, instead of our house smelling like that, she wanted it to smell like something. So the ritual at the end of the deep cleaning was to do some kind of incense smell. And so I said Sunday night because it is after the ritual of the incense smell. So you smell that the house smells like whatever her favorite incense are, but you also got to get ready for school because it's Sunday night. So school is in the Monday morning. So what I would do is you take a bath and then you go to bed. So Sunday night when my mom always had beauty bars like Caress soap, like Caress. You remember Caress? So it was the pink beauty bar. And so she used two different, she used either not either, she used both of these. She used the gold dial and the golden color dial and the Caress bar. And so I loved the Caress bar. And so she hated that I loved it too because I would wear them out. I would leave them out because anybody know like a beauty bar like Caress, if you leave it out in the wetness, it'll just get kind of it won't last. But I love the smell of Caress. So what this smells like a mixture of incense and a beauty bar. It smells like a Caress beauty bar, but a pretty nice incense fragrance. So when I would get out of the shower and get out of the bathtub and smell the Caress over my body, I will also smell the house, the incense that my mother has burned in the house. So that is literally what this smells like a Caress beauty bar and that pretty lightly sweet vanilla incense. So yeah, that's different, like incense and a beauty bar. So clean and fresh, but also that darkness of an incense. So yeah, that's what it smells like. Let's see who has joined us. Hey Gigi. Hey Jay. Hey Matt. How are you? Hey AJ. So all right, let's get right to it. Where are we? We are 9 minutes in. All right. Hey Miss Polk, how are you? How's work? Um. Okay, so KevOnStage. This was a conversation all over the internet a while ago. He did a interview with the ex football dummy, Cam Newton. Hey Turner, I am good. I am wonderful. I go to Minneapolis tomorrow, so I still have to pack. Marsha's Plate is doing a live show in Minneapolis. This is our second live show, actually. We only did one live show a couple of years ago, but this is our second live show. And we are so excited about it. So we are prepared. We are going to interview the TV series Girlies. We're going to interview Monroe Elise, and we're going to interview Amaya Scott. So they're going to be at our live show on the 19th. Yes, 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 yes. So it's going to be Amaya Scott and Monroe Elise with me, Jay, and Bree. No, this week of May. The 19th of May. I fly out tomorrow. I want to come to one too. Y'all should come to Florida. It'll be live stream. No, 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 no. Why I haven't promoted this is because it is a invite only event that is being thrown by an organization that I'm on the board of, Transgender Law Center. We're doing a um, we're doing a private, secure event for trans leaders around the country because we're trying to build trans power, political power, and so we want to come. We want to come together and kind of organize. And we along with other entities are doing different. What is it called? I don't know what the word is, but yeah, one of activations. That's what they call it, activations. So one is us, so we are doing it, and yeah, that's we can't promote it because we don't want people to know um, particular details because it's an invite only event. It's not open to the public, but it's going to be a lot of some good conversation and good yeah, we're doing a lot of stuff. Yeah, if I do a live show on our own dime, which we are trying to get funding for to do, we're trying to do one in all coasts. So third coast, of course, in my city, one in Breeze City, which is in Baltimore, and one in on the West Coast. Jay used to stay in Seattle, but he's not in Seattle no more. So where we would I don't know where on the West Coast we would do it that I would want to. I'll have to see my analytics to see where we have more listenership. I think it's Seattle that we have more listenership in, but it could be Seattle, San Francisco or LA. I haven't really looked at the analytics, but definitely going to be Baltimore. Definitely going to be Houston. It just depends on the funding. So that's what we got going on, and I'm excited. But I haven't had Amaya Scott on the show. She just there is nobody that if they haven't been on my show, it is not because I haven't asked them. It is because um, hmm, I think sometimes if you're not a super super big platform, people don't really um, um, care. Like today, if you ain't, yeah, I'm not a really like big platform. So some people just you know, don't consider it, or I don't really know. That's just what I be thinking. It's not like there was any kind of response. Sometimes if you're not a big person, they don't really respond to you, and so I've asked people that I've asked that just kind of didn't talk is gonna be I've asked Amaya, I've asked who I asked Trace Lissette. I've asked Giselle Barbie Royale. I've asked Shauna Brooks. Um, who else? Who else? Who else? As far as the girls, there's other people that I've asked, but the girls that are like popular, of course, like Jenny Mock and Laverne Cox. I've asked them. Um, yeah, there's a couple of them that I asked, and so when this opportunity comes up, I was like, hey, TLC asked me, who did I want for this particular show? And I asked for Monroe Elise. And then like a couple of days ago, one of the organizers said, "Ooh, would you want Amaya on the panel?" I was like, I don't care. Cool. Let's have her on the show. Let's go. So yeah, that's what it is. That's what we're doing. So I'm getting prepared for that. So that's the long way of answering your question, Miss Polk. I am doing great, excited. Still gotta pack and get my shit together for the trip. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the super chat, Gigi. Thank you. Hey, Brandon. Hey, Shonette. Hey, Darcel. Um, Music. How are you, Lizzie? All right, so let's get into this KevOnStage conversation. Let's play. So he was being interviewed by Cam Newton. Hey, Kyra, is that how you say that? Kyra Dior? Did y'all see I posted the picture of the Muppet? I was going through my phone and I was scrolling. I got to the picture and I was like, oh, they need to see the Muppet, because I couldn't find it when I was telling the story, but I ended up finding it and posted it for y'all. All right, so let's see what KevOnStage says.
And that just doesn't go over well with a lot of church people. And they've been pretty vocal about loving LGBT people. And that just doesn't go over well with a lot of church people. And it's just, I've been thinking about this a lot. And if I go to Judgment Day and God is like, Kev, let's talk about your love for LGBT people and all the things you said, I'm going to take my chances with whatever happens. If he ends up being like, and I didn't like that, well, man, I thought I was going to go with love. Yeah. You know, the word Christian, the IAN in Latin means to be like. So a Christian is to be like Christ. To me, my understanding of the Bible, false teacher, prefacing it. A false teacher, just a nigga. That's all I am. Jesus led with love at every point.
Hey, Michelle.
At all points. Even when the law, the adulterous woman, and listen, I'm not a theologian, so y'all can dissect this and say I don't understand. That's totally fine. The adulterous woman, the religious scholars try to catch him up. They say this woman committed adultery. The law says we're supposed to stone her. What do you say? And the legal thing, the right thing would be to stone her. But Jesus, in my understanding, came to do what was good, not necessarily what was right or legal. So he said, okay, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. So to me, you could have legally stoned her, but he chose the goodness of letting her go walk away unscathed. He was always with the sinners and the publicans and the tax collectors. These are the outcasts of society. These are people he spent time with. I think a lot of times, we want to be, we being Christians, we want to be the chastisers and the correctors of people. I don't choose that path. I choose love over and over, partly because the main reason was very personal to me. I was raised, queerness is a sin, being gay is a sin. I was raised that way. I remember when my son was born, I held him, when I grew up, he was like, my son was gay, I kicked him out. Like, that was commonplace. Yeah. Remember when I was holding my son, he was premature, he was like 4 pounds, so he was about this big. He didn't even touch my elbow. His head was here, his legs kind of finished right here. And I remember holding him like, man, I'm so sorry. It don't matter who he loves. I'm not gonna kick him out. He don't have nothing but us. Like, at that, man, I didn't say nothing to church, to nobody in church about this. I just remember having this thought internally.
I mean, to me, none of that sounds controversial. I didn't really understand why the fuck we were sitting talking about this for weeks and weeks and weeks. It really wasn't that deep, and it wasn't radical either. It's not really radical. It sounds like a nigga saying, I'm gonna mind my motherfucking business and just love folks. That sounds real Christian to me. So I don't really understand why people was up in arms about it. It's not that I'm not used to self-righteous Christians being weird. It's not that I'm not used to that or haven't experienced that or haven't seen it before. It's just this is another example of people making a mountain out of a molehill, as my great grandmother would say. Making a mountain out of a molehill, child. You making a mountain out of a molehill. Calm down, relax. This man said that I just feel like I'ma let people, I'ma lead with love. That's what it is. So I want to talk about my history with KevOnStage. It is no tea. It's just I just want to preface this with this kind of conversation. Hey, hey, Kamali. So KevOnStage is a particular brand of black church boy that I side eye. Like when prior to, he's kind of gotten bigger, but as he was coming up in the YouTube space and really coming up in his brand as a comedian, when I would see him, he's a particular type of goody two shoes church boy. They usually fake and shady. They hide behind religion. Even if they have that kind of nicety, that niceness. No, they're not going to be violent to you, but they are going to add to the jokes, add to the negative. Now, mind you, I don't know this man. I ain't never met this man in life, but he is a particular brand of straight boy, churchy straight boy that has always been a problem for me when I was growing up in church and um church adjacent as I started to grow older. Um and so I when I would see him online, every time I would see a video, I would be like, oh, and scroll. The church nice nasty, yes. Or the church indifference. Like there is a level of disrespectful lack of visibility that somebody can give you. Like I'm not just being nasty or nice. I'm being, you don't exist to me. And this is your punishment for being a sinner. I'm not even going to acknowledge you in the room. I'm not going to smile at you. I'm not going to frown at you. I'm not going to sneer at you. I'm not going to do anything to you because you don't even exist to me. There is an erasure that they can perform about you, even in the room, that is disrespectful and dehumanizing. So there's also nice nasty is a particular thing, but that's a performance that is actually aggressive. There is a passive aggressive way people can dehumanize you too without even acknowledging you. Like if they come in the room and they're being nice to everybody else but don't even say anything to you. Not nice or negative. I want that nuance to be put in there too. Um uh just so you can understand that there's a and then if you call it out, they'll say, "What? I didn't even say anything." They will act when you call it dehumanizing. It's similar to like what take this out of church context. It's similar to how you see bums or you see, well, I don't want to call them bums. You see unhoused people and they will talk, if you talk to them, they would tell you that people will walk past them like they just don't exist. um there's a invisibility um Um, there are 36 people watching and one like. Like, get it together, girls. It is 37 people and only 22 likes. So if you haven't liked, make sure you thumbs up as you come in. So thanks for reminding me. I need to get one of them things. I looked it up. There, I need a silent visual indicator, but they was charging like $30 for that mug. It's like a USB that you plug in, and it gives you a lighting indicator of after a certain. You can set it to different timers. And I wanted to get one of them anyway. That's distracting. So there is a particular, and you call it out, and they'll hide behind what? You're just being sensitive. I was talking about the unhoused people. So sometimes unhoused people will say, people, they'll say, it'll be different, like if I'm just asking for money, da 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 da. I could be just asking for anything, like, yo, can I have I see you have an extra napkin, can I use that napkin? Or something that's not, I'm not asking you for money, I just need a particular thing in this moment, and I see you have it, and so I asked you. And because you're assuming that I'm unhoused, or you might know that I'm unhoused, I'm invisible to you, so you don't even acknowledge me. And there is a dehumanizing thing to that. There's a dehumanizing. That's why, even if I'm not going to give you no money, if you speak to me, I'm speaking to you. Like, if you speak to me as a unhoused person or something, I'm going to acknowledge you. If I walk past you and see you and we make eye contact, I'm going to say hi. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to speak, I'm going to engage with you. You're a human being, so I'm going to talk to you. But there's a way that sometimes self-righteous people, and this, we're in the church context that I'm talking about, but this is outside of church. It could be you too. I think this is one of those moments where I'm trying to explain to you that sometimes it could be you too. It might not be rooted in church shit. Sometimes it could be other contexts that you could be doing this in, where you are not acknowledging somebody's humanity. You could be I'm trying to think of there's a let me think. Trying to think of another context that would be, sometimes I know this is a objectifying space, but even in like a strip club, sometimes, like, if you're not even like seeing this. My aunt, she was a stripper when I was younger, and my aunt Tanya, and she let me do the cover of her book, her first book, and the cover art of her first book. And one of the things that she said for me to do is I need to go to the strip club, so I can, because I had never been to a strip club. And she was like, you need to go into the strip club to see what it's like in there. You can't do the art for my book without ever being in a strip club. I need you to go and look. I need you to be there. And so I was like, oh, okay. So in my brain, first of all, I don't objectify cis women. So I've um never felt the need or desire to go to a strip club. It actually wasn't the first time I had been to a strip club. I had went when I was younger, but with some trade and trans women when I was in college. But this would be the first time that but I was like 18 that time. This would be when I'm like 22, a little bit later. Um, and so when I went in there, what I gather is, yes, this is an agreement between the people, the patrons and the stripper, that they are you are coming here to see us dance and get access to visual display of my body. There is an agreement consenting between the people involved. But even in that place, sometimes when I would go, I would see how the dudes are in in a social setting. It's a social setting, and they wouldn't even acknowledge the girls around while they were having their conversations. Similar to how, like, if a waiter was coming up to the table and y'all having y'all conversation and you just don't acknowledge them. You don't acknowledge them. You don't engage with them. Like kind of like if you're in sometimes you see this a lot in classy restaurants where the people aren't even acknowledging the waiter in a humane way. It's like you are a service worker. I don't need to acknowledge you. There's a arrogance, a self-righteousness, and a uppityness that can happen in that space. So anyway, in the context of church niggas, sometimes I'll be in spaces with these whack ass church niggas, and they wouldn't even not just be nice, nasty, they wouldn't even just acknowledge me, period. And so KevOnStage, despite me not knowing him, my parasocial relationship with him was I would roll my eyes and skip. It would be a certain level of annoyance. It would be a certain level of oh, this nigga again. Similar to like the closest person that would be an equivalent Big Groove. You know how some people watch Big Groove and he get to shucking and jiving and dancing and they like, oh, this nigga again. This big nigga dancing for these white people or dancing for this food or dancing. You know how people talk about Big Groove? That's how I looked at KevOnStage. Like whatever frustration people have with Big Groove, that level of it's not anger, it's just a oh, this nigga again. Do you see what I'm saying? Does it make sense? Do y'all know who Big Groove is? Do I need to find them so y'all know? Here, this is Big Groove.
All right, so Burke.
Gangnam Style. I need to turn the sound down for it. Him. So yeah, so I don't find anything about Big Groove annoying, but I know that there's a portion of the internet that finds, particularly Black internet, that finds him to be annoying. They think it's like shucking and jiving. They think it's a very tap dancing ass nigga. I don't. I have a problem with that take. I don't think you cannot have it. I just have a part, and this might be my residual of me being a little boy when I was little, but there is a particular affinity that I have for Black men just having fun. That's not rooted in toxicity. Like Black men having fun, their fun is usually rooted in disrespecting women. Like the acceptable fun is let's roast bitches, let's be disrespectful, let's insult people. But when it's harmless fun, I actually have an affinity for that. I think dancing is harmless. Now you might think that oh he's just shucking and jiving because he's big and Black and da 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 da, but I don't find dancing to be harmful. I don't think there's no way that what he does it could be annoying to me. It's just joyous. And so any kind of frolicking, having fun, laughter that's not rooted in insulting people. Remember, a lot of Black men are allowed to have fun in that way where we're disrespecting women and disrespecting each other and insulting and roasting and joning. Like there's a certain level, it's a certain level of verbal violence that is acceptable as fun, if that makes sense. So that level of I like it when it doesn't have any kind of insult to it. A fun, a frolic, a laugh, a joke, a dance. I like that. There's a certain whimsicalness to it that I find to be great. And so he is one of the people when I look at him, I think the attack on him doing this feels a little where I have to side eye, like, why is this a problem? Like, why are you um why this really isn't that big of an issue. It doesn't feel like if it doesn't feel like a problem. So anyway, but how people look at him is how I looked at KevOnStage. So how some of y'all expressed. So I think of KevOnStage as shucking and jiving for church people. Shucking and jiving. Uh, I find people like him to be another, and this is, I don't know Kevin. I want that to be very clear. I don't know Kevin. He has never, we have never had any interaction. So this is all in my head. This is not what I've seen. This is not that he's done anything or I saw him do anything. So I've never met a nigga like Kevin that wasn't a sinner in his real life. I've never met a nigga like Kevin that performs his masculinity in churchhood and Christianness like Kevin that wasn't a gutter bucket sinner behind closed doors. They fucking after school, after the church rehearsals. They be drumming on Sunday, fucking on Saturday, honey, fucking all Saturday night, fucking multiple choir rehearsal bitches, and then be in the Sunday pews or at the behind the drums, drumming, shouting, and doing on Sunday. And I know niggas like that. Going through the girls at the conventions, yes, at the hotels, hooking up, just big sinners. And then on Sunday, honey, they are preaching and self-righteous and talking about the gays and talking about the studs and talking about the sinners and talking about how you should be more like a Proverbs 31 woman, like all this kind of stuff. And so for me, his performance of his masculinity and his performance of his churchiness, that adherence to it, it triggers me. It triggers my own trauma with the church. It has nothing, I want to be very clear, it has nothing to do with KevOnStage directly. It's my trauma being projected onto him because I don't know him, but how he performs his all of that, it triggers me. So is that fair? No. But I'm just I'm just telling y'all how I feel about him. Honestly, like that's how I felt about him. Now, I'm a black girl. Unapologetically black. I love being black. I love black culture. I have never been a girl who wanted to be white. I never been a girl who wanted to who thought white culture or being white or being like white people or not being like black people was never ever ever a part of my growing up. Being black was something to be proud of. Like, so I wasn't, not saying that there wasn't anti-black systematic, things that were being trying to be pushed, but being black was cool in my household. Being black was cool, being white was corny. It wasn't, I never grew up in a place where whiteness was the cool to be like. So it was even like code switching. Code switching was only cool when you're trying to go get a job. So it wasn't, I just never grew up in a house where where being white was cool. So I'm strongly culturally black, culturally Southern, culturally black ass Southern. And so KevOnStage does a lot of content rooted in black culture. So sometimes he'll post a video asking, something funny. He posts funny videos and it'll be something really rooted in black culture. And I'll like his content because I'm black and I like this is funny. This is hilarious. So prior to this moment that we're discussing, he was growing on me. Like previously, it was thank you, Moni. Previously, it was oh girl, scroll. But sometimes he'll have a subject that's like, ooh, this is some black ass shit, and this is funny, and we're talking about it, and I lived. It was something that I'm like, oh, this go. Hey, Josani, um, and Timu. um, so it for me, he started to grow on me, and I started to find myself unusually watching something that he's doing, which is out of my character previously with KevOnStage. So me sitting and watching an interview with KevOnStage would never happen a year or two ago. It was like, oh no. It's just certain people that I would not click in to watch. And so because I don't like that person, I don't but I found myself within the past year, like he's been growing on me. So I watched a video. I watched a couple of videos. I don't really watch Cam Newton like that, but I do watch other male centered podcasts and particularly the ones around music. And sometimes he's on those. Like he was on the R&B Money podcast. Um, and where else was he at? He was somewhere else. It was just another podcast that I watch. He's doing some kind of promotional kind of tour situation. So when he was on Cam Newton, I don't support Cam. I think he is a dumb misogynist jock. Um so I don't find him to be entertaining at all. I think when I'm sitting watching him, I'm usually frustrated because I think people don't push back on him enough. And I think they do that because they wanted the popularity of the platform. Oh, thank you. What did they mention me? What did they mention me about? What did they bring me up for? Um, I thought he was annoying back in the day. Emphasis on Dom. Oh God, emphasis on Dom. Miss Treasure, Dr. Treasure. Um, so so I'm not tuning into his shit, but this is the popular. This is a popular. It's an undeniably popular platform, kind of like Club Shay Shay, Stephen A. Smith. I don't listen to Stephen A. Smith. I don't like sports, and I definitely don't like a sports nigga talking about politics. So I'm not listening to Stephen A. Smith, but these are undeniably. I don't listen to Breakfast Club no more, but because they are undeniably popular podcasts within the Black culture, sometimes I'm going to run across um, videos or reels or something about them. It's one of them things like, yeah, bitch, you blocked me, but you still gonna see my shit, ho, because I'm popular. So that's sometimes they be taunting and teasing me, bitch. Yeah, you blocked, but you still gonna see me, ho. So him being on that show, I didn't tune in, but then when I saw the clip of him saying what I played for y'all, it was like, oh, I think I'm starting to like KevOnStage. I really, not just because, like I said, it started before that moment, but I'm like, okay, I like you taking this public stance. I like it, but it wasn't just about him accepting LGBT. What it was is even on the other interviews that I saw of KevOnStage was admitting to being a sinner. So there was no self-righteousness to it. It isn't I'm on the high ground and I accept LGBT people. It was I'm a sinner too, niggas. I'm a sinner too. And so I was out here having the sex. So how the hell I'm gonna be a hypocrite and say I hate gay people and kick out the church and blah 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 blah. I was out here doing the stuff too. Not gay stuff, but I was out here getting pussy and I wasn't married and doing all the. I was doing the stuff. So that is the part, not just you saying, "Oh, I'm free from sin and I'm just gonna deal with the gay people with love." You can't just, I don't give a fuck about that. That's still you putting yourself on a fucking pedestal like you better than us. Fuck you, hoe. I don't need your fuck. I don't ask none of you bitch ass fucking Christians for acceptance. Suck my dick, hoe. I don't give a fuck about none of y'all. Didn't nobody ask you to accept me, bitch. If I needed y'all acceptance, I wouldn't even be what the fuck I am. Get the fuck out of here. But when you say, listen, the reason why I'm in this position isn't because I'm on some high ground. It is because I'm a sinner too, and I find it to be hypocritical. When I self-reflect, it would be hypocritical for me to be like, oh, shun the sinners, and then I'm a whole fucking sinner. That's a different context than, oh, I'm a goody two shoes and I do all the things right. And I just think that, I don't want to be disrespectful to the gays, or I don't want to, I don't want to do that. I don't find that to be cute. Fuck out of here. I don't like that shit. So for me, that's what made me start to like Kevin more, because he was being transparent about his own sin and saying, it felt like there's a difference between me saying, look, I ain't going to Christ about somebody else's salvation. It is when I'm sitting in front of Christ, it is going to be me and about my shit. It ain't going to be about Duran Bernard. It ain't going to be about Diamond Stylz. It ain't going to be about T.S. Madison. It ain't going to be about Patrick Ian Polk and all the whoever the gays and queers are. It's gonna be about my own fucking sin. So why am I wasting time hating and ostracizing and being shady to somebody about their sin? I gotta worry about mine. And it's an ongoing battle. The devil, if you believe in the devil, he always trying to come in and tempt you in some kind of way. So yeah, you may not have the sin of, quote unquote, the sin of homosexuality to battle, but it's all kind of other sins that you can participate in, child, that the devil can, honey, scurry on in while you focus on the gays, honey. How is that vanity? How is that gluttony? You over there with that high BMI, which we know isn't real, but I'm just using the as an example, hypocritical example. You over there with all this kind of shit going on with you, but you worried about the gays. There's tons of sins that you could be that the devil is always trying to manipulate you in. But you worried about the gays? So I think that there's a difference in that. I don't think he accepts LGBT people. It's just he won't condemn them because they need to be saved. The whole equaling, you mean equating LGBT to sin is a no-go for me. It's really crazy. I think you're right, Ray. I think there's a certain acceptance. Who's the gay boy that recently was like, I'm never gonna marry a man because I think that would be a sin. I'm gonna marry a woman. What was the little light skinned boy? I don't really watch him either because he annoys me. But recent times, what is his name? I don't know his name, but he's a light skinned gay boy that's like popular, do funny videos. And he recently said, Darren Fleet, is that his name? It could be. I don't know. I don't know his name, but light skinned boy. And he recently said, I will have to marry a woman because I think it's a sin. And so in my mind, I think like that. There are some people who think homosexuality is a sin. And for me, it is a no-go. So if you think me loving somebody of the same biological sex is a sin, we fundamentally have different ideologies. And so if that's wrong to you and sinful to you, I can't be a part of that. We disagree. And even if you are nice to me, even if you are nice to me, you are still my enemy. You're still my enemy. You're just a nice enemy. You don't want to hang me, but you want me to go to hell. That's essentially what you're telling me. You think it's okay for me to go to hell for loving, because you agree with this stance of what I'm doing is a sin. So since you biblically agree, and this is a part of your religion, you think it's okay for me to burn in hell for that. And that makes you my enemy. You might think that's harsh, but that's what you are. You feel like it's okay for at the end of my life, I burn in hell. And if that's how you feel, there's no way that I can look at you favorably. Like, there's no way for me to be like, oh, I like them. There's no way for me to be like, oh, you're a good person. You're cool. They're so nice to me, though. They're so nice. They let me come to their events, and they're so nice. They don't call me fags. They don't call me he, she's, and trannies. They're so nice to me. But they definitely think I should go to hell for what I'm doing. But I can look past that. Like, is that would that be normal? Like, would you think that that would be normal? That I think that that's cool. You think I should burn in hell? Like you think because I love a man and I was born a male that I should be burning in fire and brimstone for eternity, and I'm supposed to like you? I'm supposed to be cool with you? No, no, no. No, no. What's the Get Out? What's the Get Out lady when she was possessed by the white woman? No, 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 no. Yeah, I like Christian A. Smith too. Um, what do you think of Christian A. Smith? I like him. I think he's dope. I don't think he's the first person to have a queer accepting theology. Um, but I also there is a there's a belief that you can't say no to God and do something different, right? Like, is that is it, can do y'all agree about that consensus that there seems to be this belief that you can't say no to God, like however ever is said he's supposed to do it, that's how you're supposed to do it. Isn't that do y'all agree with that? Or am I tripping? Like there seems to be, even like the story of Jonah, like if there's a way I'm supposed to do it this way, if I don't do it, then you're gonna do something crazy to me, like put me in the belly of a whale and blah 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 blah. So yeah, they told me don't worry about that. But they told me don't worry about that. I don't know. So I that's just totally most Christian believe that. And so yeah, so for me, growing up in the church, there were Bible verses. So there was a time in my youth where reading the Bible was cool. When I growing up in church, being able to read the Bible and say that you read the Bible was cool. Um, and not just by it wasn't about knowing how to read, because I remember I watched this documentary about Toni Morrison, the pieces of me or pieces of you, I can't remember exactly. And she talked about how her grandfather was proud that why one of the inspirations of her becoming an author is her grandfather was so proud that he read the Bible. And she was like, I had to remember. And she was like, at first I judged him, but then I had to remember he grew up in a time where knowing how to read was illegal. And so reading the Bible, she was like, that seems so boring, but reading the Bible was so important to them because there were none, they weren't supposed to know how to read. So damn, I really know how to read the Bible. I read the Bible. So, when I was growing up, it wasn't about knowing how to read. It was about shit. Um, in the context of the culture that I was living in, as far as the going to church, knowing your word, being able to recite scripture verbatim, be verbatim from the heart. Like I know what this scripture says, which you just saying the numbers, knowing how to recall the performance of recalling scripture in reference to the conversation. You get socially praised for that. Knowing how to recall it's a performance. It's all a fucking performance, y'all. Like it's all a performance. But in the culture of church, knowing how to recall that, um, I hated read the Bible. We used the King James version in our church with thou dothest go with thee. Da, 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 da. See, at the time I'm young, so I was like 7, 8, 9. And so at with the time I'm talking about, 7, 8, 9, not I'm young now, but at the time. So reading in general. So reading was cool to me in general. So I'm reading um Roald Dahl's Matilda at the same time that I'm reading um Kings, Second Kings. I'm mixing this. I'm reading all kinds of level of books. I'm reading Ebony magazine. I'm reading all this stuff. Do you see what I'm saying? In a sense where the joy of reading has is like ripe. It's like, ooh, I love reading. I want to read this. I want to read that. I want to go to the library and read this whole shelf. I got reading the whole library was not ever a goal, but oh, I want to read this whole shelf. And oh, reading the whole shelf of books, that was the like, oh, it's an accomplishment. It was just it just was exciting. It was still exciting. So the Bible wasn't different from any other books. Does that make sense? So that's how I felt about it. It wasn't a and also I those things that you just named, Ari, the thou doth goeth thee, that was similar to those nuances in language and dialect in the Bible was similar to me reading Our Eyes Was Watching God, how different the language and dialect was for Janie and in Zora Neale Hurston's book. Like it was a different dialect. And so reading dialect was cool. Like I thought it was like, ooh, this is different. And so that's kind of how I thought of, because most books didn't sound like that because the dialect was different. And so me reading that, somebody could be turned off by that, but just like reading that is kind of how like I felt the Bible was at that age. It was like, ooh, this is a different dialect, different, even like I'm trying to think of other books. I don't know, any kind of dialect heavy book can kind of for some people turn them off. But for me, I just thought it just was different and I still was excited about it. Anyway, so there is this sense that you can't say no to God. But when I was younger, there was these stories, and I'm going to tell y'all some of them. I'm going to put them in my notes. There was these stories in the Bible that kind of, for me as a kid, that kind of like, that kind of cracked the, whatever the glass around what Christianity was. Reading the stories in the Bible, my logical mind, they created a crack in the glass because it was where my logical mind clashed with whatever mind that they wanted me to follow and just believe that Sky Daddy in the sky was all knowing, all being, da 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 da. So my logical mind, these don't make sense. Do you see what I'm saying? This don't make sense. So this is one of the stories. And there's so many ridiculous stories. Like the main stories people be talking about, but people be knowing. But if you read the Bible, there's so many ridiculous, like so ridiculous stories. Have y'all heard about the shitty bread with Ezekiel? Like the shitty bread, the shit bread. So has anybody heard of that? The shitty bread, the doo-doo bread? Nope. Okay. So this is one of the stories that when I was little, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like this is I never heard of that bread. Right. So if you read the Bible, you would know that there are some ridiculous ass stories. So let's talk about Ezekiel. So God told Ezekiel that he needed to make some bread out of human shit. This is in the Bible, y'all. I am not lying. Right. So Ezekiel, God told Ezekiel to make some bread out of, put with some human feces in it. And Ezekiel said, nah, bro. Ezekiel was like, no, I'm not doing that to God. And God said, yeah, bro, maybe I'm tripping. So yeah, you ain't got to use the human feces, but you got to use the cow feces. So use the cow shit, not the human shit. There you go. This is a story in the Bible. And so as a child, with a child's mind and child understanding, and I think it's a reasonable logic. My brain said, oh, this is a person in the Bible who said no to God. Like this is a person in the Bible who said, oh, nigga, no, I'm not making no shitty bread out of human feces. That's disgusting. No. And God listened. And while he did tell him to make the bread out of cow dung instead of human feces, just as ridiculous to me as a 9-year-old, 7, 8, 9-year-olds, just as ridiculous too. But this was somebody in the Bible saying, nah, bro, this is late. This is tired. I don't fuck with this. Like, no, that's disgusting. And God said, okay, maybe I'm tripping. We'll do it this way. So to me, this was a moment where somebody said, no, I'm not doing whatever you're talking about doing. I'm not doing that shit that way. I'm not doing it. No. Pick up, honey, find somebody else to do it. He said, you're taking this a little too far, God. Right. You're taking it a little too far. And so, and God said, God God thought about it. It wasn't just no, what? I told you to do it with human shit. Do it, or I'm gonna send bears to maul you. That's another story I gotta tell y'all. I'm gonna send somebody, I'm gonna do something horrible to you. So another story that I got like 4 stories I'm gonna talk about. So another story. Have y'all heard about God sending 2 girl bears to maul 42 children, 42 young adults? All because they was roasting a nigga about his bald head. Have you ever heard that story in the Bible or nah? So Elijah had died. So his successor was Elisha. So Elisha. And he was coming back. He was coming to tell the people that, I'm the new prophet. I'm the new, you know what I'm saying? I'm taking Elijah's place. And the people in the little town, the little wicked town, was like, nah, nigga, you ain't our new motherfucking prophet. Fuck you, nigga. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Take your ass, go on and go up, nigga. Take your ass on with your bald head ass. Take it. God, the Bible said the people was chanting, go on and go up you with your bald head ass nigga. So they was roasting him being bald, which at the time was super because it meant you had some kind of disease or you just was getting old. It was disrespectful because motherfucker, nigga, your hair gone. Go grow some hair, nigga. Fuck out of here. So because they were disrespecting him about his bald head ass head, the story is meant. I definitely remember that story in the Bible, right? The story is meant to teach you that the Lord protects his people, and so Elisha said, "I curse you because God is gonna protect me, and I curse you for disrespecting me, calling my hair bald and wear me out." And the Lord sent 2 girl bears. Why they had to be girls? But they sent 2 girl bears and mauled all 40 of the people. And some people talk about them like they're kids, but they're the language in Hebrew, they weren't kids. They were like young, they weren't children. They were like young adults, like teens, like 17, 20 in that age. They were young adults. So so it is hilarious that God cared, that especially like pro-lifers who be like, God cares about children and kids and life, and baby, he will send a bear to maul a nigga all because I talk about a nigga being bald. Yeah, a lot of people act like they were kids, but there's a word that they use to describe them that King Solomon used later on to describe himself because he was a young king, and you can tell that it was about being, they're in that age, that teenager, adult, young adult age. It wasn't which is how they used the language at the time, and theologians would talk about that. But a lot of times people make it seem like they're kids, which is even worse. Like God sent some fucking bears to maul 42 kids. That's crazy. And me being a kid thought that this wasn't fair. Like this doesn't sound like a guy that I think is cool. Like, why am I, and not cool as in like in the in crowd, but you don't sound like a good guy. That doesn't sound like a good guy. So 2 more. So do y'all know the story of Tamar? Like where Tamar Braxton got her name? You know, that name is a biblical name. Do y'all know the story of Tamar? I really use this when I'm having a feminist. So sometimes I have a course that I do when somebody hires me. There's a course that I do that's rooted in um fit black womanism, basically black womanism, lens, female stories in the Bible from a black womanist lens. So I do this kind of analysis. So I have one I do where I do Ruth and Naomi, and then one I talk about Tamar. So yes, that Tamar Turner. so Tamar, let me give y'all. So if she slept with her dad, not with her, it wasn't her dad, it was her husband's dad. So let me give you the tea. So if you don't know the tea about Tamar, so all right, so this is a story in Genesis 38. So, and it's chaotic. It's about survival. It's about hypocrisy and a little bit of trickery, baby. So Tamar is married to Er, and is wicked and late and tired. Wicked. So imagine your first husband being wicked, late and tired, and you married to him. And back in these days, there was laws called the Levirate laws, Levirate, marriage, a Levirate marriage, where if your husband died, it is the responsibility of your husband's brother to marry you, to continue your brother's lineage and continue. So your husband died, you got to marry the brother. That's the laws of the land at the time. So her first husband is and he was wicked and tired. So his brother, Onan, 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 her second husband married her too, but he kind of refused to have sex with her. Shirt for Earl work. As if Earl needs to be shorter. It's one syllable. How much shorter do you need to get? So Onan refused to have sex with her, married her, but God didn't like that either. So God killed because he was wicked, but then he killed Onan because he wouldn't have sex with her. So he married her, but he didn't really want to procreate with her, didn't want to fuck. And wait, but he fucked, but instead of him nutting inside of her, he wasted his seed and did a pull-out method and poured his nut on the ground. God didn't like that. So I didn't tell you to pull out, nigga. So I'm killing you too. So God struck him down because he wasted his seed out of the coochie. This your wife, you supposed to be fruitful and multiply, and you wasted all that good cum on the ground. Who told you to do that? That's not what you're supposed to do. So you waste all that good cum. I'm striking you down too, just like I did your wicked ass brother. Now I'm going to strike you down too. So Onan, he struck him down too. So they daddy is like, so now they got a younger brother named Sheila. So remember, the law says if your brother, husband, the wife is supposed to go to the next brother. But they daddy was like, yo, I don't want this bitch to marry my youngest son because she cursed. You see, this bitch got some fucking Black Widow pussy. So I done lost 2 sons behind this bitch. So I don't want her to marry my youngest son because this bitch might kill him too. Like she got some fucking wore out, like some coochie that's wear the kids out. Nah, get the fuck out of here. What's going on? This is crazy. No. So Judah was like, nah, bro, you can't marry my motherfucking last son. You done got the other two killed. Fuck out of here. So I'm about to send you back to your motherfucking daddy house as a widow. Now, Tamar is like, yo, me going back to my daddy house as a widow, you leaving me destitute and abandoned. Like, this isn't a good, classy way I'm supposed to be out here in the streets. I'm used up. I'm still young and still can have kids. I'm not supposed to be this widow that, you know, just fucking isolated and ostracized for a community. I didn't do nothing wrong. That's the Lord wearing them out for their weakness. This not me. So, and broke and tired, right? Because you wasn't able to be right. I'm supposed, and I can't even get a new husband because I'm supposed to marry y'all. They gonna look at me as negative, like I'm a fucking a bad thing. So you putting me out to pasture as a widow, and I can't even find a new fucking man because it's gonna make me look bad. The fuck? What the fuck you doing? But he sent her motherfucking ass out back to her daddy house. Like, bitch, gone. We getting out of here. So, so Tamar said, you know what? All right, I got something for your motherfucking ass, bitch. I got something for your motherfucking ass. This is what we gonna do. So Tamar took matters into her own hands. She disguised herself as a veiled prostitute on the roadside when Judah was traveling. So she was like, let me be sexy in my burqa. In my burqa, and honey, be out here, and niggas is gonna need. And so let me, while he rolling down the street in his little carriage or whatever, I need to put my leg out so he can see how sexy they are. And bam, and boom, he pull up because a nigga gonna nig. And he pull up and see what I got going on and fuck the shit out of me. So Judah did pull up on her and fuck the shit out of her. Now he promised her that he was gonna pay her, and she was like, nigga, you ain't got my rate. And he was like, I'm gonna pay you later, bitch. What the fuck you tripping about? I'm gonna pay you later. I'm the motherfucking king, ho. What the fuck you talking about? You don't trust me, bitch? And she was like, nah, nigga, I need my motherfucking rate. And he was like, I ain't got that shit. And she was like, you gotta give me something, motherfucker, because I ain't about to fucking not give you the I ain't about to, you ain't about to get my pussy for free. You need to give me some kind of collateral. So Judah says, all right, well, let me give you just a bitch since you don't trust me on my motherfucking word. I'm the motherfucking king. Let me go ahead and give you my seal and give you my staff. Hold this shit, and when I come back, I have your motherfucking money, bitch. You fucking tripping. And she like, oh, all right, I'll take that. Cool. I'll take that shit. Cool. Great. So she took the seal and she took the staff, and she like, cool, I'm gonna take this on back. And she held on to it. So he fucked her real good, and she got pregnant, y'all. Got pregnant down. Wore her out. So now, bam. When Judah finds out, like 3 months later, when she finds out that Tamar is pregnant, he is furious. And he tell his pearl, he was like, this bitch really fucking disrespecting me. Like, not only is she killed my 2 sons, this bitch clearly somewhere fucking since the hoe done got pregnant. I told that bitch to go sit her motherfucking ass down with her daddy and chill and be a motherfucking widow. This bitch giving the pussy up, and she ain't supposed to be doing that. And she done got pregnant. So bring that hoe to me, and I'm gonna burn that bitch alive. Bring that hoe to me, I'm gonna burn that bitch alive. So I want y'all to clock this. Clock the T. He expected her to completely be cast aside and expected her to be chased and do nothing and play like you are demoting me as a class, as a woman, as a class, and I'm supposed to do nothing and just be faithful to your family as you're simultaneously telling me, throwing me away. So when they brought Tamar back, they brought her there for the execution. Tamar said, y'all can't kill me. This is baby. He wanted her to be a beggar for the rest of her life. Right. She was like, this his baby. And Judah said, what the fuck you mean this my baby? Here's your seal. Here's your staff, baby. How I get these things. We fucked. You don't remember? Ring-a-dingy-dingy. This don't ring a bell. And Judas was like that wire meme. That wire meme that's like, what? Like that meme from The Wire when the nigga was like, what? That was you selling pussy on the street, on the road? That was you? Man, this wild, this crazy. For real? Ah, you got me. All right, you got me. All right, untired. We ain't got to burn her today. We ain't got to burn the bitch today. All right, cool. You got me. All right, she pregnant by me. That's what's up. And we ain't gonna disrespect her. She actually more self-righteous than me because she did all this shenanigans to protect my family name. So fuck it. We gonna let her make it because I've been on some bullshit. And she goes on to give birth to 2 twins. And these are the ancestors of Jesus. Like the whole Old Testament is giving you the lineage of Jesus. It's telling you how all these people came to be. How do we get to Jesus? So this is Jesus' great grandmother, further down the line. But this is his granny hustling her way, baby. I'm going to break these rules of society to come up because you're not going to fucking play with me. I'm going to be a prostitute to come up in society because you're not going to have me locked into some fucking bullshit based on these fucking laws and these rules that y'all got to oppress women. And you're not about to send me out in pauperism. I'm about to use what I got to get what I want, just like in the future Ronnie Ho quotes. And I'm going to use it and I'm going to put you in a bind, nigga. And it saved her from being this destitute motherfucker. Which is exactly, and to me as a kid, now I'm growing up in a hood household, so I have all my great aunt Joe, my great aunt Roz, I told y'all she was a sex worker, so I have all this life context in my brain as a young boy. And so I knew what prostitution was because my fucking auntie was a prostitute. I knew what this all meant. Now, I didn't have the systems names, the patriarchy and the feminism. I didn't have the system names, but the basic level understanding of how this isn't fair and how they made these changes to be fair and broke these rules and broke these laws and did something different to be fair to their unique position. When I think about Ruth leaving Moab because they fucking husband died and they were following Naomi. Naomi like, bitch, I gotta go back home to Judea, and honey, y'all gotta go back to Moab. And honey, find y'all a new husband because I can't have no more kids for you bitches. My sons done died. And Orpah was like, bitch, all right, I'm about to go back to my peoples in Moab. And Ruth was like, nah, bitch, I'm gonna stick beside her. I'm gonna stick with you because I I ain't shit. Ain't nothing out there for me. Ain't nothing out there for me. I want to go where you going. I need to go wherever you go. I'm gonna follow you. I know you too old to make me know another son or whatever, but I'm gonna stick beside you. I feel like my luck is gonna be better if I go with you. That's what the Lord is telling me, so I'm about to do this. And so her and Naomi go back to Naomi's hometown. Now she a widow, so she in her black. So she supposed to be in her black mourning her husband. Naomi said, bitch, we in the new city. We city girls. We outside. I'm too old. So you the young one. I'm too old. You need to take off that motherfucking black. Ooh. Oh, baby. Why are you calling me? I'm too old. So I can't secure no other motherfuckers. I'm old and barren. But bitch, you still young. Take out that motherfucking black. I know my son, I know you love my son and da 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 da. Honey, take off that black. We need to find you a new husband. And my cousin Boaz is available. Look at that nigga. I think he gay, but he need a wife. That's a whole other story. Listen, you better take your ass on over there and secure the bag, bitch. So she go over to Boaz. Ruth go over to Boaz, and I think he gay. Remember that. He like, I don't know if this gonna work out, but I feel sorry for you. So let me take you to where the men's gather and see if we can find you a husband that's not me. See if you find somebody else. And all the other niggas is like, nah, this a foreign bitch. We don't really fuck with her like that. We don't like our local bitches. And you bringing this foreign ass chick, and she ain't no whore, but child, she been married to somebody else, and child, we don't like that. Why don't you marry her? And Boaz marries her. So, honey, listen. No, I don't think I did. That's just me adding my own context. I think Boaz was queer. Um, just based on the interaction. So she ended up marrying Boaz and securing her bag for herself. And Boaz had coins. Boaz had land and coins. So these are situations as I was growing up that I was like, oh, they were making rules for themselves. They were doing things different based on their particular circumstance. And then even Jesus saying something along the lines of just him simply saying, why have thou forsaken me? I think that is clearly, what the fuck? Why are you fucking blowing my phone up? This is my lash lady, child. And I hit her up earlier. And she just now hit me up at 8:47. Girl, I ain't got no time tomorrow. I'll fly out. Boaz ain't really want her ass. Yeah, so another one. So that's Tamar. I just thought that's an amazing story because Tamar was in a particular situation and it worked out for her. Now, all of these is Jesus's ancestors. I want y'all to clock this. These are different generations of Jesus's ancestors working shit out, especially particularly the women. What time is my flight tomorrow? Because it takes about 2 hours. Hold on. Nah, because my flight is at 4. No, I was just checking. My flight is at 10 a.m. I was just seeing if it was something available for today earlier. Okay, yeah. So especially the women just making shit work and as somebody who live life, even in the rules of today, there are laws of today. There are women who are making things work, queer people making things work despite the law, despite how things are supposed to go. They are bending the rules a little bit or doing a little witchcraft to make shit work for them in favor to them. And the way it is, oh, it's too late. She talked about come right now. It's too late. It's 9 o'clock. It's okay. It's 9 o'clock. Girl, what? She must be. This is why you should have hit me earlier. And then you take two. If I come at 7 in the morning, that's gonna make me rush. I no. Yeah, I don't want to be rushing. Anyway, so yeah, so we see that happening now. So it's unrealistic for me to think that there weren't people in the past bending the rules. Girl. Um so last but not least, one of my one of the stories that really just was the nail in the coffin that was like, this is bullshit. I think the story of Job is the most bullshit story of the Bible. I think the story of Job is one of the most bullshit stories of the Bible. Almost, I'm sure there's other ones, but this one particularly because it had the devil involved. You know what I'm saying? There's other ridiculous stories, but because this one had the devil involved, it it was the most ridiculous for me that really severed my trust for God. Like it was, I know it was meant for people. The way people tell the story is it's meant to teach you to be steadfast, and the Lord will take care of you in the end. But nothing about this story worked out in Job's favor to me. Even the things that he got at the end didn't fix the problem that I had with it. And this is me as a kid, but definitely as I got older, even worse, my thoughts about it. So, from my understanding of Job, the way it's always been told to me, and the way I read it, is Job had a pretty decent life. He had his kids, he had his marriage, he had land, he was faithful to God. And all of a sudden, God and the devil are playing games with his motherfucking life. Like God, now this is what annoys me. This is what annoyed me about the scenario. You are the Alpha and Omega. You know the end. You know me. You know what they always say, the Lord knows my heart. You know my heart. Why are you proving anything to this nigga that you created that you know don't fuck with you and don't fuck with us? And I'm one of your people. Why would you let this clown have his way with me? When you already know what I got going on? Why you got to prove something to him? Like, why I gotta be the guinea pig to prove something to him? That doesn't make sense. You playing with my emotions. You playing. And so you killing off my people who I love. And even if you give me 10 foes later, I gotta deal with the trauma of losing my people. This don't make fucking sense. You're omnipotent. What do you have to prove? Exactly. Why are we proving something to this clown who's gonna end up being in hell anyway? This doesn't make sense. And as a person reading it, and as a person who, younger and older, who's thinking about this from a level of Job's perspective, this nothing about this seems fair. Nothing about this seems cool. Nothing about this seems acceptable. Nothing about this seems great. Even if in the end he got 10 folds and he got whatever the abundance that's supposed to be equal. I went through this trauma for no reason. I went through all of this stuff for no reason, losing and failing and feeling bad and doing all the stuff and all the negative stuff that came with this bet. Because that's essentially what it was, a bet. Who does this? Why would you do this to me if you love me? This doesn't make sense. I don't like this. I found that story to be the nail in the coffin for me on some bullshit. It was like, girl, I don't like this. All those Bible stories have an underbelly of wickedness. It's like beating your girl, or letting, not just beating your girl, letting a nigga come beat your girl. Letting another nigga come beat your girl. To prove she won't leave you. My girl won't never leave me. Come beat her up, I bet. Come rob her. Come rob her and beat her up. She's still gonna stay. Okay. I don't know. Do you? Should she be this faithful to you? No. If you would put her through that, she really shouldn't be faithful to you. Exactly. Exactly, Matt. That first half is gone. Everybody who I loved in my first half is gone. The trauma of that. So I'm sitting in my rocker loving the Lord with the trauma of my whole family being wiped out. Damn. That is tired. That is tired as fuck. So I say all of that. I say all of that and tell all of those particular stories because when it comes to KevOnStage, to me, what he's expressing is he has evolved in his theology to do something that he thinks is the right way to go, despite that church community being hateful. I'm going to do something else. And so when KevOnStage says, if I have to go in front of the Lord and he tells me that, oh, lovely life, bro. Cool story. But you were friends with them gay people. You love them gay people. And I go to hell for that. I just got to take the risk. When you put it like that, it sounds ridiculous. Because it is. It's like, you think God is going to throw me away if I live a decent life? He's going to throw me away for being nice to gay people? You think that is what's God going to look down on me for doing that? And if he does, is that the kind of God that I want to follow? I don't think so. It wouldn't be for me. Not to me. But maybe it's maybe it is to you. But that wouldn't be a God that I would want to follow. I'll try, like Kevin said, I'll try my luck. I think that all this shit is a performance. I think that people control you through shame and fear. I think religion uses fear and shame to control people. And other people who follow that religion use fear and shame to control other people. And it is refreshing. I don't think it's radical, but I do think it's refreshing when somebody publicly says, I'm not doing it y'all way. I'm not doing it. Fuck out of here. Especially somebody who their brand is rooted in the church. With love and kindness have I drawn thee, but not for them punks. Not for them punks, honey. Right. For me, and as Black people, we know how fear and religious control worked on our ancestors. And so I just can't. I can't be down with it. If it don't make sense, do something different. There's people in the Bible that pushed back and said, nah, I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to do something different. And deal with the consequences later. Better bash Mr. in the head and think about heaven later. Prophetess Sophia told us. You better bash Mr. in the head and think about heaven later. Bye, Michelle. And so for me, my current religious practices is just for solace. It's always about, I'm not about to be telling people I'm 100% for sure about any spiritual journey, any spiritual practice. I am not about to be acting like I'm 100% for sure. I'm not. But I find my spiritual practice to give me solace. I find my spiritual practice to be rooted in my own personal journey. I'm not trying to project it on anybody else. I'm not here to convert any motherfucking body. I'm not here to convert. I'm not here to judge anybody's spiritual way of life or their way of life based on my shit. I'm not doing that. That's good. I'm just not. That's none of my business. What you do, what you got going on, ain't none of my business. In regards to if it's not affecting the world around me. You getting a little dick in your butt don't really affect me. You not getting no dick in your butt don't really affect me. You eating a little pussy and you got a pussy, it don't affect me. Why would I even be sitting? Oh my God, you're gonna go to hell. That sounds ridiculous. It sounds ridiculous. Like it just really sounds ridiculous. You going to hell, eternal damnation, because you had sex with a woman. 15 minutes of sex, if that. In the grand scheme of things, that just doesn't make sense. It don't make sense at all. It don't make sense. And I think that sometimes they try to bully people, particularly popular people, into being hateful. And I think KevOnStage is like, nah. Kevin Fredericks. That's his real name. Like it voids out all the good you were doing. Yeah. And that it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. And I think it's weird to make sex inherently wicked. I think that is weird. How does the world benefit from that? That sounds like somebody who's trying to control you trying to benefit from that. That sounds like some man-made shit. That doesn't sound like something that a supreme being would be like, yeah, these are the worst of the worst. It just sounds, it just doesn't, that sound very man-made to me. That don't sound like something that a supreme being would be worried about. Compared to other shit, like you murdering people, you stealing, you know what I'm saying? For me, that sounds like something like intentionally man-made to control people. Even the structure of God, husband, wife, kid, that sounds like some man-made shit. Me knowing how patriarchy works, that sounds like some shit some niggas made up. No. To control. Mm-mm. No, I mean, what other? Let me look at my notes. What other points I want to talk about? Oh, and this is a short point, but I want to say the story of and a lot of the stories, they were redone by Deuteronomists. Like it's like a group of anonymous fucking writers. And so I don't believe in men like that. I believe in the flaws of men. Men will be, when we think about writing now, like even the writing of today, People have their own spin, their own political spin about it. So you want me to think that these anonymous writers, the Deuteronomists, wrote these things with no kind of political spin? I don't believe that. I don't believe it. These niggas didn't even know the biology that we talk about now, that we weaponize against trans people. They didn't even know that sperm, it was the man's sperm. They was beheading, and this later than that. They were fucking punishing women based on the children, the sex of children, all because they were prioritizing boys. And if she had girls, she wasn't a good woman. No. They didn't even have anywhere near the context that we have now. People say that the whole importance of Adam over Eve was a mistranslation that makes her lesser than him. That was clearly intentional, and to demonize her. And you're not about to make me think that that's real. Sorry, buddy. There's a reason that the Bible can be preached for eternity, and it because people have a way of adding perspective to fit an agenda. And that agenda is different across generations, child. During slavery, the agenda was to keep you enslaved. These mangoes are good, but I think they add sugar to them. I like the ones that they don't add sugar. Anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about in regards to that. What do y'all want to talk about? Yeah, I like KevOnStage now because I have seen him be honest and transparent about his own experiences, and it has led him to be more, to me, vulnerable and more honest and a better Christian to me. When the last time that you attended church service? Well, how was it for you? Ooh, I can't remember. I have an urge to do Easter like every 3 or 4 years, but that was prior to COVID. I haven't really been on that for COVID. I don't know. I can't remember me going to church for the church sake. I've been in a church, but me going to church for church sake. I used to have an urge to do Easter. Every 2-3 years, just to do the whatever, the get dressed up, be sickening, sit in church, whatever that is. That did something for me for many years, and I enjoyed doing it, and I would have the urge to do it usually like every 3 years, and I haven't done that in a minute. But these are just things that I was accustomed to when I was younger and just I like the performance of church lady, the performance of being a church lady going to church and with my hats. And it's always been a good. I haven't had a negative experience since I was a kid. Did you speak on T.S. Madison's interview? You're the second person that brought up Madison. What interview? Interview with what? And what did she mention me for? Somebody said she mentioned me earlier. Her and Craig mentioned me. What was said? What was mentioned? Let's dive into the Dr. Cheyenne. Okay, how I dived in is that I am now Dr. Stylz, Dr. Diamond Stylz. I got my degree from a school that is closed now. And you ain't gonna be able to find my dissertation because Elon Musk deleted it through Doge. So they scrubbed my trans-based dissertation because it was focused on DEI and trans, and so they scrubbed it off the internet, and so you're not gonna be able to find it. Oh, and um, so yeah. So hope. I don't know what Elijah got going on. I don't think he's being rude, but I don't know. But hope. So it's really nothing that I can say about hope, man of clouds. If you go to that video, I put a comment in the section. It's a quite long one. And if you want me to read it, I can read it to you. I did a whole week of hope content. I'm not doing no more content on hope. Nothing she said debunked. Now, Elijah, I don't find anything wrong with what you're saying. From what I can't read everything, but we have moved on. You're not about to spam us, girl. So relax. And just take this as a warning. Relax. It's okay. We know that the fake ministers are whack and corny. We know that they are. We have moved on from that conversation. You're okay. Relax. I don't know about prefers. I just don't think God cares. So, I did multiple videos on hope and I explained myself very clearly. I explained myself with receipts. um, Hope is somebody who doesn't mind showing receipts any other time she's showing receipts. So it's two things that I really think that she said that were just not true. It's two things um that in that interview that I want to that I can tell you now, but I go in more detail in my comment on that video. The first thing is me and Hope have never had a beef publicly or interaction that wasn't public and witnessed. So anything that happened negatively between me and Hope happened publicly with witnesses that people can corroborate what I said. Uh, Give Elijah about 3 more things to say. If they keep going, go ahead and take them on out. Relax, Elijah. Um, um, so any kind of beef that we had was public. So it wasn't like a in regards to things happening where we were talking to each other. It was all public and people were involved, and it wasn't just me. So Hope saying that she had to, and I'm talking to Man of Clouds. Hope saying that she had to check me, and the reason why I don't like her is because she had to check me about something. Hope ain't never checked me about nothing, nothing. That people, period, because there was nothing that I did that she needed to check me about. Because she said, "Oh, I had to call her in, and she didn't like it." No, that's not what happened. The first time that we ever had some kind of direct contact was under Angelica Ross's post on Twitter. Hope was not popular at this time. She was like a regular girl. She had like 5,000 um, Instagram followers. She wasn't popular at the time. And so she had got this is when everybody was bringing trans people on their show. She had got a situation with Grapevine that doesn't exist anymore, and she went on there and she was pandering to cis women. Now, mind you, I told many people that I had not been dealing with Hope for a long time because she was very all lives matter. When I first got introduced to her, she was all lives matter. I took a screenshot on my videos of Hope. I showed the screenshot. All my receipts was there. So anyway, don't need to rehash that. So when what made me block her all the way back then, 2000 and I think it was 19, 2000 and no, it had to be 2020 something. I don't know. I can't remember because we was on the video chat. So it had to be 2020 or 2021, somewhere around there. What made me block her was when me, Brianna Jenkins, and Angelica Ross called her in and said, "Hey, you actually pandering to cis women. We love cis women, but when we're holding people accountable for transphobia, and you on some, oh, pick me, cis women. I love cis women. I'll never You're pandering to them. Like, we're not calling them out just for being women. We're calling them out on their transphobia. And so you being a pick me and you being like this cisgender pick me is late and it's tired, and it doesn't move us forward in teaching what we're supposed to teach." She got offended by all of us saying that, particularly me and Brianna, and she responded to both of us at using both of our ats and said, "Oh, I think you bitches are just jealous of me." So once she said that to me, this was no longer a call in. This was a crazy bitch trying to get clout. Because why would I be jealous of an ashy, wide back brick like you? Why would I why would I be jealous of you? There's literally nothing that you've done. You got fucking 5,000 subscribers, 5,000 followers. You haven't done anything that would constitute that I haven't done. Like you get what I'm saying? Like you are nothing. Like you're nothing to me. Like you're not somebody that I would aspire to be. And I'm a 90s film queen. And to me, you are hard, broad, back ass brick. To me. And I thought it was funny. What I also thought was funny at this time, she was putting up fake Vogue covers with her big ashy man feet out. I'm like, everything about you, there is nothing about you that I would be jealous of. Nothing. So for me, that was something offensive. And so, but I ain't gotta wear you out. I'm just like I told Brianna, I'm just gonna block her. And that's what I did. I didn't go back and forth. I blocked and never really, anytime I saw Hope, it was somebody sending me something of hers. Because she was blocked. I blocked her on all platforms. So, and never thought about it because she was nothing to me. And so that was the one and only time. And there was witnesses. You can ask Angelica Ross. You can ask Brianna Jenkins. There were witnesses there who were a part of the conversation. So it wasn't, she didn't call me in about nothing. She didn't have nothing to call me in about. I wasn't pandering. You were. And so it wasn't until that week that y'all hey Angel, that it wasn't until that week that I did those series of videos about Hope that I was like, oh well, you don't poke me and think I'm not going to respond to you. So apparently she went live and somebody brought me up in the conversation and she went on this rant. And so somebody sent me a recording of the rant. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, let's play. I'll play. You know, y'all know me. I'm not too good to get down in the mud with a bitch. I done been reading people since I've been on YouTube. Y'all remember Taz Maya? What was that girl, that big gorilla brick? Taz Maya, what was her name? Tasmia. I can't remember that bitch name. Looking like Optimus Prime. I don't mind getting in the mud. I'm never gonna be too good to read a bitch. Let's go. Since we playing the game, let's read. We can read. Let's go. So I left you alone and wasn't even dealing with you. But you brought me up, so let's go. So that's why that video happened. So there's that. So that's one thing. Man of Cloud. She never called me in or talked to me about nothing. That bitch ain't never, and even in person, that bitch ain't never said nothing to me in person. Never. What I love about Hope, what I love about Hope. We have similar ways of engaging in those spaces. She don't try to talk to me and I don't try to talk to her. You get what I'm saying? So it ain't like some bitches, they will be all tough and blah, blah, blah on the internet and talk all kind of shit. And then when you see them in person, oh, girl, I think it was a misunderstanding. I hate that shit. Or give you some kind of fake conversation. Hey, Mr. Diamond, no, bitch, don't speak to me. Fuck you, hoe. I'm that type of person. But Hope ain't never tried to be friendly, which I love. She ain't never been faking that way. And we both had the mindset of, we ain't got to be friends. We ain't got to like each other. We don't like each other. So there's that. The second thing is about the money. So my claim was, my question, not my claim. My question was, where was the money that you raised in the GoFundMe that was supposed to go to the little boy? That was my question, because I think you're a grifter. Now, her claim in the video with Madison, is that she didn't use the money. GoFundMe held it. And years later, some lawyer of the grandma who apparently got custody of the girl who had then transitioned. So years later, and the lawyer, couldn't find her and contacted her and called her out on the internet. And then she confronted the lawyer and said, "Have you talked to GoFundMe about the money?" And apparently the lawyer, this is what my understanding, it was kind of a weird, because it was a lie. Anytime you shit is weird, it's because it's a lie. She said the lawyer went and checked and had to issue her a written apology, and she showed the apology and da-da-da-da-da-da. Now, this is where the lie comes in. GoFundMe is not a bank. They run on particular rules. And because they're not a bank, they cannot hold your money, any money, for more than 30 days. So if you got a donation sitting in GoFundMe after 30 days, they're sending those donations back to the donor. You can't just let money sit in GoFundMe for years. So you saying that you let that money sit in GoFundMe after 30 days for years, waiting for you to send it to some lawyer, to send it to the grandmother, or to send it to the grandmother, because it's not going to anybody but the grandmother, you're lying. Because that's not how GoFundMe works. Like, go look at the policies. They're not a bank. They don't just hold money. So if you want me to think that GoFundMe just sent some money to that grandmother or that lawyer after years of it just sitting in there, you're lying. Show the proof of that. Why haven't you shown the proof of an apology from a lawyer? Show the proof of that. That's my question. Show the proof of that. Because it sounds like a lie. Because y'all can go Google. Do Google hold money past 30 days? Not Google. GoFundMe hold money past 30 days. They don't. They send it back to the donor. They don't just sit in there like a bank account. That's not how it works. I didn't take that money, and she had to apologize to me. Girl, please get out of here. You told that girl that she needed electrolysis on her knuckles. She did. Her knuckles was hairy. Now, I know we in a space where, people can present their womanhood however they want. They be having beards. They be having all kinds of stuff. But I'm a 90s film queen. I have a particular rule about femininity and womanhood and transness that I live by. So a bitch with hairy knuckles can't tell me with bald knuckles, you can't tell me I'm jealous of you. They're bald. My knuckles are bald. I don't have hairy knuckles. So you can't tell me that I'm jealous of you and you got a fro on your knuckles. You can't tell me that I'm jealous of you and your feet look like Nat Turner's did when he was walking to go kill those white people. You can't. You can't. You can't tell me I'm jealous of you when your feet look like you just tipped off the homicide. You can't. What am I jealous of? That's because there's nothing else. You ain't got no money. I too have degrees. So what exactly? I too have been on. Well, at this time she hadn't done anything. At least she has done something. Some claim to fame. She said she was some kind of NASA thing. She was a speaker at NASA. I've been speaking this shit all my fucking adult life. So you got to show me exactly what I would be jealous of. And what I want y'all to clock, what I also want y'all to clock, because people can't fake their motivations. They can't fake it for a long period of time. If you listen to that interview with T.S. Madison, when they switched the subject at the end towards talking about the documentary they have, so she has a documentary about herself. Diamond Stylz, I have a documentary too. Guess what it's about? My documentary that I chose to produce was about violence against trans women. I featured 3 other trans women and cis men talking about toxic masculinity and violence against trans women. I didn't feel so grand that I needed to do a documentary. I could have did a documentary. They was throwing money at everybody. I could have did a documentary about me growing up and suing my high school. I could have made a whole thing. I was asked to do this. I could have made a whole thing about me and my journey as a trans person growing up as a teen. They was ready for it. This is when the whole trans youth attack was happening. People were bringing me money to do my story as a trans teen. I could have done that. But I was like, no, that is not what the kind of content that I want to create. I want to talk about something that's more important, and that's trans violence and toxic masculinity and these straight niggas and da 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 da. I didn't want to center myself, but she has a documentary that centers herself. Cool. And if you listen to that interview with T.S. Madison, it reveals her inner thoughts about the girls. She says that she wanted to be a different representation. She wanted to be a different. There's trans women out here that have degrees. Why y'all don't tell their stories? When we look at they always telling the prostitutes and the stroll, and they're telling all these stories about the negative sides of trans women. I didn't go through that. I went to college and got a degree. So what that indicates to you, which is if you have been following her as long as I have, this is a bitch that behind the scenes lives around respectability politics. And she hates that the girls who are getting attention are the ones who are not respectable to her. So it is no coincidence that her project revolves around herself and revolves around the idea that she's this special trans woman that wasn't a sex worker, that's a positive representation. Now, do I think that we should have a wide range of representation about trans people? Yes. But I think Hope has an internalized hate for the girls who are sex workers, who don't live up to respectability ideals. And when she sees y'all bitches get any kind of light, she's evil about it. We saw with the situation with that dude from Detroit when he played her out of getting him a birthday gift. Her first negative thing to say about the girl was that you picked her over me and she's a prostitute. These are little nuggets of indication of how she feels about girls who she thinks are beneath her. So, yeah. So, prove where the money was at. She only tolerates the popular ones. Right. She was on that Carmen Carrera shit. Remember when Carmen Carrera said that Maddie wasn't good representation because she was a sex worker? When bitch, you was a whole nigga last year and a drag queen on RuPaul. Get the fuck out of here. They be on that bullshit. And so I don't respect hoes like that. And so that's man of clouds. That's what I wanted to say, honey. She ain't never checked me. First of all, I'm a fighting ass bitch. Can't no bitch ever check me. We gonna read or we gonna twirl, so you can't check me about shit. That's number one. Number two, the question I asked is where that motherfucking money went to. Where that motherfucking coin went to. And you still didn't prove that. Because it definitely didn't go to that boy. Well, now they said she transitioned. Definitely didn't go to that girl. And she revealed herself in that interview that she was somebody who hates the fact that you bitches who are beneath her it be getting shine. Yes. So those are my thoughts on that interview. I thought I already had said it, but yes. It was just weird that she mentioned that situation years later. What situation? What situation did she mention years later? And that's also what I said in the comment is I wouldn't even be saying I haven't liked Hope for about she's been blocked for about 6 years. It got to be 5 to 6 years. And I haven't, and anybody who's been watching my live, when they bring her up, I'm like, people know I don't fuck with her, but I don't really talk about her in that way because she hadn't really done anything to me directly. But I've always felt like she was a scammer. I always felt like she was a fake. I always felt like she was an opportunist. Like her politics behind the scenes always showed that she was on some weirdo shit. Like it was an internet performance. And so for me, I don't really fuck with bitches who I think are fake. And so many of y'all been here listening to me for years. Prior to that week, you probably knew that I didn't fuck with Hope like that. But had I ever talked about her in a negative way about any of that shit, I had all that in the clip, ready to go. If she ever tried me, bitch, it's all in the clip. Ready to go. And so I graced her for many, many years. I didn't really talk about her like that. I was like, girl, I didn't really talk about her. It was only until if she would have kept her, even when she had stole the account from that organization that she left and admitted it. And yes, she deleted the video. I have the videos. That's why I had the receipts in the videos I did about her. I had the receipts. And so I showed the videos. I wasn't making anything up. I showed the videos. You stole them people's account because they fired you. So there was that. And so even though I had that, I didn't talk about it. It wasn't, she didn't do nothing to me directly. Because I don't like to be, there is a part of me that I don't like to have unnecessary beef with bitches, trans bitches. Really, anybody. For real, in the queer community. I don't really like to have unnecessary beef. So I try to keep it cute, but I'm also somebody that you can't play with me too much. You can't play with me too much. So there's that. What else we gonna talk about? Because I'm done talking about Hope. What else? I wanted to talk about the LaSaya Wade versus Kelly Gorgeous Gucci situation, but I felt like that was even that, like that, it ain't got nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with me at all. But I find it to be fascinating how they are dealing with each other. Do y'all know anything about those girls? I know this is a really niche part of the internet. Do y'all know anything about Kelly and yeah. These are very niche entities. And I'm not I don't know Kelly at all, like in regards to us like being which I live for CL. I ain't trying to be funny, but I live for people taking it to hell. That's why it's fascinating. I live for it. That sounds like ballroom. Yeah, Kelly's ballroom, but Lasaya isn't. Lasaya is ballroom adjacent. She's social justice adjacent. She's had a lot of stuff going on. I don't know Kelly at all. Like Kelly, I don't know. I know her like because of her being a ballroom personality, but I've never had any interactions with Kelly. So I don't really like no negative, positive, no nothing. I don't like we've never chatted or talked or anything like that. So I don't know Kelly at all. Now Lasaya, we cool. Like it's like not we're not friends, but because she's in social justice spaces, when we see each other, we speak. I've met her I think one time in person. I think we met like in I think before COVID, we did a I think before COVID, we did we met at a conference in Dallas, creating change in Dallas. I think right before COVID, like that January before we went on lockdown. Lockdown was in March. I think I met her that January before lockdown, um, and I did a panel with her. And I think that was I did a panel with her, and then we are Facebook friends, and she sent me like general messages about let me see, she sent me messages about just general conversations happening. um let's see. Yeah, we had a brief conversation about hold on, let me see. She hit me up about when that thing happened with the black woman in the locker room and the white man, not white man, the white trans woman. That locker room, the LA, it was at LA Fitness when that whole fiasco came. That was the first message she sent me. Now we've been friends on Facebook for a while, but she sent me a message about her, Trish and Alexis. Yeah, so she sent me a message asking me my opinion about it, and so we had a conversation about that. So that's the only thing that we kind of talked about. Um, and we sat at different sections, different sides of the aisle. I'm somebody who feels like if we start making it okay for bricks to be treated negatively, that's just a slippery slope. We're gonna just because y'all. My stance was we have to be careful with justifying bad treatment just based on looks, because y'all saying that she's not doing no effort, blah 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 blah. But what if it's somebody that is doing the effort that they can, and they look clocky, and somebody treats them bad because they feel like they didn't do the effort or whatever. Effort is subjective. Everybody version of what could be effort is so different. And so that was my stance. I feel like y'all going down a hole that can lead some of you bitches think that y'all not bricks. That's another thing, man. I am not delusional about myself. I'm not somebody that thinks that when I go out the door, absolutely no one would ever be able to tell. Now, I have gotten myself to a level that most of the time when I'm out in the streets, people don't know my tea. It's ma'am, miss. It's people engage with me assuming that I am a cis woman. I don't ever have experiences. Um, it's rare. I don't want to say don't ever, but it's rare, very, very rare that somebody is clocking me and like saying, that's trans. That's that's very, very rare. But I've worked. I've gotten the surgeries. I've worked hard to get myself to a level where I can navigate the world with a particular level of safety. Um, yeah, that was separate issues in regards to Kelly, her, and Alexis. That we this I'm just giving you an example of how we know each other. So me and Lasaya. So we don't know each other on a personal level, but she hit me up in my inbox based on that subject. But that was the first time she ever hit me up in my inbox. I met her 2 times, one time in person, and then we were on a panel together like in 2022. And so that's our relation. So Kelly, I don't know at all. Like I've never talked to her. But Lasaya, we've had some engagement. You feel what I'm saying? Like I know a little bit more about her than I do about Kelly. Um, so that was my point. But anyway, so Lasaya Lasaya basically a couple of years ago had a Dominique Morgan type of blackballing. She was apparently stealing money. Now, don't quote me. I don't know all the details because I'm not in in all the business, and I'm not somebody who always digs into the tea. So this is just a general idea of what I heard about the situation. I don't want to. The idea is what people have told me was that she tricks on niggas. She tricks on trans men. She tricks on I don't know if it was the trade or trans men, some kind of men. I know she likes trans men. She got a baby by a trans man, and there was a rumor that she was abusive to a trans man in either Baltimore or Nashville. So she got a lot of tensions rumors about her being abusive to trans men. Um, and apparently she was embezzling some money from her her organization. And so the board, instead of sending her to jail, the board decided to just fire her. So it's very similar to like Dominique. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so I don't that's just what I heard. You know what I'm saying? I don't really be knowing. So from what I'm to understand, while she was in her position, there was money that she was using to kind of buy her way into the ballroom. And this is how Kelly it gets involved with her. Now, mind you, I don't know. This is just what I'm hearing about the story. So y'all go do your own research, ask your own questions. So apparently, Lasaya having these connections to coins by being in this position of power at her organization, she was able to, fund balls, put money on prizes at balls. So this was the way it's sold is that she's using her money to get in good with the people in the ball scene so she can start walking balls. She also got her FFS done. All of this stuff is happening at one time. So all this money is she's investing in herself. She's got her FF. She gets her mug done. She starts to walk balls. She starts to invest in balls, like to throw them and apparently. And so something happens between the way Kelly described it. Bree has an interview with Kelly where she describes it. And Bree also have an interview on her Bree Star, also Fairy Puss, also have an interview with Lasaya where she has an interview with both of them where they tell the story about both of their clash. So you can go hear it from the horse's mouth. And so apparently Kelly, there was some kind of beef going on between her and Kelly. I couldn't remember. I don't remember every detail about that, but it started to be a clash between the mutual friend. Yeah, Bree was getting it to you. I lived. They had a clash between a mutual friend, and then it was all kinds of beef. So y'all got to go listen to that. I don't know, because once it started getting boring and just like I really start watching the messy part. So one time, the messy part that was funny is Kelly called, I guess, Lasaya's father, like her birth father, and told her birth father that she had died in a car accident. And so Kelly is acting all like dramatic actress, saying, yes, she died. And it was that level of petty and messy is so funny to me. Like, I crack up. It was so hilarious and funny to me. And that's the type of stuff that they're doing to each other. Like, they both don't like each other. Lasaya is, I guess, calling the FBI or something. I saw some kind of clips. Somebody had posted a clip, and I find Bigo to be like the sewer of the internet. So apparently there was some clips on Bigo, like where Lasaya was saying that she was crying and saying that y'all wanted to not feed. I have a child because Lasaya has a child, and so sometimes she makes her child her personality because she's a trans woman with a child, like a biological child. So sometimes she makes that her personality. Like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. So they remixed this little video where she was crying about they didn't want my child to eat. They didn't want they wanted me and my child to starve. And I'll never forgive you people for that. They've blackballed me. I lost my home and I lost my marriage. Like, it was a whole video that they remixed and made it funny. And so, yeah, it was wild. Because I don't know if her child is special needs. So Kelly was talking about her child being slow or retarded or something. It's just it's in the ghetto. It's in the sewers of the internet. They are very like talking about kids. Which, I'm not somebody who, when we in war, baby, we in war. Ain't no respectability politics. So sometimes your kids is gonna get read if you got them on the internet. So apparently somebody from the board of the organization that fired Lasaya sent Kelly some of the correspondence around and information around Lasaya's being fired or let go or something. So because she didn't go to jail, like Dominique, she didn't go to jail like Dominique. So she's out and about and not being able to find work, apparently. So she feels like she's blackballed because of that scenario. So it was a lot. It's a lot going on in that story. Too many details for me that I don't really know. But yeah, I thought it's just an interesting battle because of all the funny shit that Kelly is doing. And how their minions on Bigo is kind of making it. They be remixing the videos into shit that's funny with funny music on it. So yeah. This is an epic beef. Yeah, it's a gag. Like I said, I'm just telling y'all. I'm just telling y'all, it ain't got nothing to do with me. I ain't got nothing to do with it. Yeah, that I don't know these chicks like that. It's just funny. Just if you go down the rabbit hole, you find some funny stuff. The Lasaya Wade and Gorgeous Gucci beef. But yeah, Brie got both of the interviews. One is a podcast about Ballroom that she goes into with Lasaya, but then one is a Kelly interview. Arbitrary lines, as you said on Maddie's panel. Yes, I think when you start making these lines as arbitrary, there's gonna be some people who's doing the same amount of effort as you, but they're still failing. Yeah, it's good. I know I have a God. I don't want to say it. I ain't gonna say that because she's never she's super sweet, so I don't want to and I know she watches me sometimes, so I don't want to how can I say this? So there's a I know somebody. I'm trying to be as least specific as I can. I know somebody who is they can't get on hormones for whatever reason. There's a medical reason that they can't get on hormones, but they live their everyday life like a trans woman. That's what they do. They're older, but they can't get on hormones because of medical reasons, and so they go to work every day. And so sometimes when you see them, their level of effort isn't always the same. Because sometimes, bitch, I just woke up and I'm just trying to get to work real quick. So I shaved, but I ain't got no makeup on it. So you might see a little bit of my blue beard. I got my wig on, but I didn't have enough time to go to put makeup on. Whatever happened. I'm barefaced. I shaved, but I'm barefaced. You still can see my kind of little shadow. But I got my wig on and I'm just going to work. Boom, because I got a job. Gotta go to work. Oh, y'all see my nails? Does it give Easter? I didn't want it to give Easter, but they kind of give Easter now that I'm seeing them up close. But I like them. They were supposed to give stained glass, but they giving Easter egg Fabergé. They giving Fabergé, child. Now that I look at them, but I think they're pretty. Anyway, I'm wearing a lot of blues and greens and shit, so I wanted my nails to kind of be with the theme. Cool tones, a lot of cool tone colors. Anyway, so she lives her life full time as the woman that she is, but she can't afford any surgery. Um she doesn't she doesn't pass at all. But I don't think I think somebody, if you don't know her, I know this person because I see them all the time. And I know when they have time to get the effort and get done, I know I can tell, oh, she didn't have time today. And so for me, for me, she's a perfect example of somebody who I don't want her to be mistreated just because she fails whatever litmus test that you have on her about being a trans woman. Whatever it is that, however she fails it, I don't think that that should justify any bad treatment. I don't. And if you do, I think, especially if you are a trans person, if you're a trans person that holds the idea that somebody is justified in treating a trans person bad just because they didn't put in the effort, I think you're part of the problem. I think you're part of the problem. And there is an idea that this is just the reality of the world. Yeah, racism is the reality of the world too, and we don't let that shit slide. We don't just deal with it. We don't just deal with the realities of the world in a way that's insensitive to people. The patriarchy and misogyny is the reality of the world, but we don't just deal with it. If some shit come up and it's bullshit, we call it out. This is fucking bullshit. Well, yeah, if you dress like that, you can expect the men to touch you. What you running around with your booty cheeks out and think a man is not gonna touch you, bitch? You don't supposed to fucking touch me. I don't give a fuck what I got on. You're not supposed to touch me without my consent. But you know how men are. Why would you, bitch? Fuck you and them. You're not supposed to touch me. If I don't care what I got on, you don't touch me. But that's not the reality of, that's not being realistic. And the reality of the world is that men is just gonna be men. No. That may be the reality that men are gonna do some. We have created a place in the world where they can just touch people without consequences. I don't think that's right. And so if a nigga touch me, I might go off. I don't care what I got on. If he touched me, I might go off. Because he's not supposed to touch me without my consent. You don't touch my ass. I don't care if you can see my whole pussy. You don't touch it unless I tell you to touch it. And so that's an analogy of what I'm talking about. Just because a trans woman is clocky doesn't mean that she should be able to be mistreated. Well, you know how people are. If you running around and you ain't shaving, you ain't got your wig on, or you ain't living up to the standard of the cisgender binary, that's what they gonna do. That don't mean it's right. That don't mean it's okay. That don't mean they should treat you bad. I don't. Why? Even if it's a white woman, I think people. Oh, it's always the white girls to do that, bitch. Sure, it's not that I think that that's a lie. We see these ridiculous white girls. We see them. I see them, but I also see some bricky black girls too that people will treat bad and think is justified because of what you're saying. So while I understand the nuance of the ridiculous white girl who just got up in, some of them doing it performatively to be messy, and some of them just bricks, just like the rest of bricks. And if we allow the transphobes to just freely mistreat us because of we don't fit a standard, it opens up the door for cis women to be harmed. It opened up the door for trans women to be harmed. It opened up the door for anybody to be harmed that doesn't fit those particular cisgender standards. Anybody. And I don't think that that is particularly right. I don't think that's right. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to go out here and not put the effort that I think I should. But I'm not going to ever be sitting around justifying somebody's actions that are harmful to trans people just because this particular white girl or just because this particular brick is not living up to a standard. I don't give a fuck. They'll do it to you. You think she won't do it to you just because you a pretty tranny? As soon as she know you a trans woman, she gonna do it to you. Because as soon as she start being popular, she was talking about all trans women. She wasn't just talking about the ones that wasn't passing. She was talking about all of them. Because transphobes aren't just talking about the pretty ones. Transphobes aren't just talking about the passable ones. Transphobes aren't just talking about the ones that put in the effort. They're talking about all of them. Got it? That ain't gonna save you. That ain't gonna save you when the policies change. When they changed the policies about the IDs in Kansas, did they say, "Oh, make sure you just count the ones, just do the bricks." Invalidate the IDs of just the ones that still kind of look like men. All the pretty ones, let them keep their IDs. Did they do that? All the passable ones, let them keep their F and their IDs. Let them keep it. Do you think those laws and legislators did that? No, because they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. They actually find you the passable ones to be worse because you a Decepticon, bitch. Roll out. Because you ain't supposed to be looking this good or being able to pass, or we should be able to tell. Yeah. Bitch. They ain't worried about none of that shit you talking. They feel like you are the abomination, baby. Whether you clocky or unclocky. Whether we can tell or we cannot. We can tell or we can't. Bitch, you is not what you say you are. And so, all them surgeries, all them injections, all that fake stuff don't make you a woman. So get back, Satan, you Satan spawn. Get back to your place as a man, which is crazy. Because if they tried to go back, this was always crazy. Y'all say you a man, you a man. When they try to go back to being men, y'all don't accept them into the manhood. It's gonna always be a stain on them to be invalidated. As soon as you find out that they used to be trying to be a woman, you're gonna be like, "Oh no, you're not a real man." Y'all don't be fully accepting them back into the fold. Okay, you're a real man now. No. Can y'all link me to a successful detransition bitch that's being fully integrated into patriarchy? Do y'all know one? You over there and got your titties cut off with scars on your body, looking like a deformed, shitty mess. Talk about you looking for a wife because you a man now. Well, woman, they barely want regular niggas that's bisexual. You think a woman gonna want you? The bitch that used to want to be her? How does that be working out? That's crazy. Hmm. But yes, I don't have anything else, y'all. I'm about to start packing. Make sure that you thumbs up. Make sure I don't be telling people to subscribe. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can get notified when I go live again. I will talk to y'all. When? I don't know. I don't know when I'll be back. I think I'll be back by next Friday. I think. But yes, if you are somebody that will be in Minneapolis, make sure you come up and speak and holler at me. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Yeah. Can you get an outfit pic of what you wear to the conference? Oh, I'm bringing fashion, so I'm going to be recording fashion videos. Every time I travel, I do fashion videos. So I'm bringing clothes so I can do some fashion content, which is usually what I do when I travel. Yeah, so I'll be doing. I don't know if I'll take a. I don't really be thinking about pictures like that. Usually, when I'm thinking about like outfit stuff, it's usually when I'm actually getting dressed. I'm kind of really socially awkward, so when I'm in social situations, I'm trying to be social. So I'm usually like, "Hey, how you doing?" So I'm performing while my social battery is on. So I'm not really thinking about fashion. I'm usually thinking about it while I'm getting dressed in my hotel room. So I'm usually thinking about recording then, but taking picture. Hopefully, somebody will take some pictures of the event. Take some pictures of the event, but yeah, when I get the pictures, I'll post them. And yeah, I'm gonna, I'm gonna put some, I'm gonna have some cute stuff on. I don't know if I want to be. I don't know. Sometimes I don't like to be when I'm in the midst of a bunch of girls. I don't like to be high femme. I like to be kind of. I like to be femme, but I like to be kind of a little high femme lesbian-y, so a little masculine energy too. So because I know the rest of the girls is gonna be high femme, and it just makes you stand out when you're not being high femme. So I don't know. I have a couple of ideas of what I'm gonna wear, how I'm gonna be styled, but but yeah, I got some feminine stuff and I got some heat that I'm gonna pull out. Oh, and I'm wearing my new bag. I haven't showed y'all. I think I showed y'all in my last episode that I designed. So I have an outfit that revolves around that bag, so I can have the bag on stage with me because it's cute. Um, so I'm gonna wear that. Yeah, I got a couple of things that I'm gonna pull out. I gotta be there for 4 or 5 days, so I got things. I got this Indian I got this Indian damn outfit that I haven't been able to wear that I'm gonna pull out because I wear my things, so I'm gonna wear it. You wearing a hat? I don't think so, but I haven't decided. I'm getting off here and packing, but I haven't. The ideas of shit that I'm wearing so far don't require a hat, but maybe. But yeah, there is, but maybe I don't know. I'm gonna pull some things from the closet, from the vault, and see what it gives. And y'all tell me if y'all like it when y'all see it. But yeah, thank y'all. I will talk to y'all later. Make sure y'all thumbs up if y'all are just now tuning in or watching it later. Make sure you comment and subscribe. I will see y'all. Bye.